Hey, what's up y'all? Welcome back to Dyzee Bboy vlog. Today I'm going to be making for you a quick vlog which is about the Toronto style legwork history. Every month I do a live stream for my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to do one on the dead leg, which is a move, a Toronto style move that came from Toronto, particularly my crew. So the following footage is supposed to be just about the dead leg tutorial, but it became a full Toronto style evolution video. It's cut from a 40-minute live stream that I did for them. So the quality of the footage is not the greatest, but just figured that I'd want to share with you some of the gems. Can't really share everything because number one, it's just for my Patreon supporters. And secondly, because with my Patreon supporters, I just share the honest truth, and the honest truth might sometimes piss people off. So anyways, I hope you guys like this quick little tiny tutorial slash history of the Toronto style. And as Maurizio said in one of his videos that I thought was raw as F, maybe you like it, maybe you're not gonna like it. Check it out. I'm Dyzee,
13-time world champion, a Tricer pioneer, a global B-boy activist, and you're watching the Dyzee Diaries B-boy vlog.
I don't know if you guys already know the move or you don't know the move, but at least I can give you a bit of history on this move. So, what the move is it's basically called the dead leg, and it's become like world renowned now. It's famous, okay? And it's this move right here. I'm going to show you this move. This move. It's a little legwork move that everyone does, but what you don't know, in 2000, my crew were the only ones who were doing that move because we invented the move, right? We actually invented a lot of moves, and a lot of these moves are done today. But a lot of people don't know where these moves came from, but they do it, right? And which is, back then it would be a problem because you weren't allowed to do that, but now we understand that, you know, these moves have become part of B-Boy's foundation, right? So we're happy and honored to bring it into the breaking. I think that if people are going to use the move, you want to use it like in the right way. Yeah, so let's begin. So this move called the dead leg came from the Lego leg, right? Basically it was a Lego leg in reverse and then kind of flipped and changed. But a Lego leg came from something called a blender, right? And now a blender was also used to be nicknamed dead leg, but we're giving the name to the person who first brought it out like internationally and people saw it, which was this B-boy named Gizmo from Bag of Tricks. Now a lot of people don't know who Gizmo is, but this guy is like a legend in the B-boy world, but he's like a true underground king because he invented a lot of the moves that people see today. Things that you wouldn't even think of, kind of like even a move like this, like a little flick of the leg, right? He invented stuff like that. You know, no one was doing that back in the day until this guy Gizmo came along. So with that said, this is different from what other people are doing because in Toronto, it's all about how you used it and how you did these moves. And I'll tell you why. Like when you saw breaking in the 80s, right, it was very standard. You had a top rock, you had a footwork, and you did this power, you know, windmills or head spins, and you had a couple of moves. You know, everyone was kind of following that format. Once in a while you'll see something different, but most of the time it was like pretty much the same thing. And then breaking died in the 80s, and when it came back in the 90s, I'm speaking for Toronto though, I came back from the raw underground hip-hop scene, in these underground hip-hop jams that were really like ghetto and like dangerous, and people used to hate on breaking because it died out in the mid 80s. So if you were breaking in the 90s, people would make fun of you, right? So the people that were breaking in the 90s that people couldn't make fun of were the gangsters. First they were hip hop dancing and they had that vibe, but they brought breaking moves into it. Okay, they were bringing breaking moves into the dance, and so nobody can say stuff to them because, you know, they were pretty gangster, you know, with it. It was a dangerous time. Think of this, okay? Back then, like Wu-Tang Clan, all the classic 90s joints were just on the radio at that time. They were new, they were fresh sounds. They were remixing things, like they were sampling music and refreshing it and making it brand new. And that's the music that we were dancing to back then, you know? And so it made the way that we dance kind of feel like we have to be new too. We have to be fresh and bring a brand new, you know, flavor, you know, to the dance floor. If you came out with a move that nobody knew what the heck you were doing, right? Even if it was a small move, but you did it with like a nice little burn, like a little fork moving, and you looked up at them like, what? Everybody would be like, oh snap, what you got for that? So you wanted to have these kind of moves that were like unexplainable. If your move was too easy, somebody would see it and be like, ah, I know what you did, and they would just bite it. So what we did in Toronto, we're like, okay, look, if I'm gonna make up a move, I'm gonna make it so complex that people will not know how to bite it, right? Because back then there was no video cameras. You couldn't just go on YouTube and bleep. It was like you only went to the place, you saw breaking, you would have to call out that person because you wanted to see his moves. You wanted to see what he can do. This is the evolution of one of the moves that started from blenders and it moved all the way up into what we call now dead legs. Okay, so I'm gonna show it to you guys. It's a Toronto style move. Everyone does it these days, but I'm gonna try to show you and help you guys with the move. Okay, so the blender, Gizmo, he would bring one leg back and he would go underneath like this. And then he would reverse it. That was a blender. Now it's different from how people do it like this, right? That doesn't look as dynamic, but when you have your whole hands to the back like this, and you bring it underneath like this, it literally looks like blenders. So to practice a blender, you gotta sit down on your butt, lift up your hip, and then kind of like a jazz split, you know? If you're doing like the James Brown jazz split and you're sitting down, it's kind of like that with your butt in the air. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring your leg underneath you, right? And when it comes up, you jazz split the other way, jazz split the other way, jazz split, until it gets smooth. I'm kind of flexible, so it might be easy for me. Another way to do it, right, is the same thing, but lift up your butt on one hand and switch the other side like that. Sometimes it's easier, you know what I mean, if you're kind of like bouncing, kind of like this. So that was the blender. Now if you have the blenders, then you kind of get the idea of what it's supposed to look like. Your legs are supposed to be like going in circles, right? With your knee as the pivot point. So this is considered now no longer footwork. Even though you're watching my feet go around, but this is actually considered leg work. You're not just moving the feet, you're moving the leg. Whereas footwork is more like these. What we started doing was saying, okay, let's do the blenders a little bit more complex. So this is where this kind of moves came from. Where you put your knee, your foot, and you call it cross blender. So you're sitting down, like that. On this side, we decided that we want to make it way more complex, okay? So this is a move that came from Toronto, actually from my crew Supernaturals, and it started from this guy named Lego from Supernaturals, okay? So he's like the OG from our crew, and this guy is straight 100% hip-hop. He was the first guy breaking in a very complex, detailed, like miniature little tiny steps and moves kind of format. So Lego made up this move called the Lego leg. From footwork, from here, bring your foot around, wrapped around, and coming through. Boom. The right way to do it, I had in my video, is start with this, boom, boom. In case you don't know, it's like this. Your foot's planted, one foot's all the way out. You wrap around, your knee comes to the ground, right, over the foot, and it comes out like this. Okay? That's a Lego leg. You reverse it, what happens is this foot comes up, you're just reversing it underneath the foot and coming straight through. Reverse Lego leg. Now the reason why it's called the dead leg, when Lego made up this move, kind of like a blender, he called it a dead leg because it's like, he was trying to like lift over his leg like that because he wasn't flexible. So he was lifting over, and he was lifting over like that. And he was calling it a dead leg because he was saying that like it's like his leg is dead. I made it up like this. I said, okay, well instead of starting from here and going around, what if I was like from here, going here and pulling it underneath, okay? So I'm pulling it, kind of like scooping it like that. That's where it becomes what you call a dead leg. Because it's kind of like the same concept of like Lego, how it's a dead leg. And then your foot is pulling it underneath. Or if you don't know the reverse Lego leg, start with a Lego leg. Then reverse it. Okay? And then after you learn how to reverse it and it becomes comfortable to go here, and sweep under, the next step is to enter it from here. Boom. Boom. Okay, so go boom, boom, okay? That's the next step, okay? That's the proper way to do a dead leg, okay? And when you dead leg, you gotta bring your knee all the way back to create a perfect pivot point when you come around. Now there's tons of more variations that I don't even think I can even do anymore. Well, these are simple ones, right? It's coming from here, boom, like that, right? This is kind of like a variation of a dead leg. And from here, instead of that, you bring this and your knee goes here and it's still, see that? Boom, boom. And then another way to do it is called a scoop blender, because this is what a scoop is. Like that. A scoop. The leg scoops under. A scoop blender because it goes like this. Here. Like that. Yeah. Okay. So these are moves that a lot of people don't really fully understand or comprehend right now, but they're all going to become foundation one day. Everyone kind of learned the first variation, which is the reverse Lego leg, or some people still call it dead leg. A couple more variations. This variation, it's a vine dead leg. Vine is basically when your foot's like double crossed. And you start off like this, here, and it wraps underneath here, and comes through. That's a vine dead leg. If you're gonna use these moves, like I said, like learn how to do them right first, and then learn how to switch them. Finishing off with the dead leg. The dead leg is, yeah, my favorite move in breaking, you know, but I don't do it as much anymore because everyone does it, you know, and maybe I should battle for it. I should be like, it's my move, but I don't know, feel like I really, you know, have the energy to do that, you know what I mean, like to say, okay guys, this is my move, and at least I've contributed to breaking, you know, people around the world doing it. But if I ever battle anybody, I'm sure to call them out on it. I'm sure to say, hey, you don't even know, but you're breaking and doing moves that I invented. You know, if someone tries to call me out and battle me, I use that against them. You can't be a jerk to me because you do my moves. I'm always gonna have that argument. Hey guys, I got a monthly live stream on my private Facebook group for my Patreon supporters where I talk about things like battle preparation and proper warm-ups and stuff like that. If you can, please check out my Patreon page and consider supporting me. It would mean the world to me. Thanks guys. Peace!